So, like many of us working in city museums and some of the all the previous speakers, we in the Museum of Lisbon tried to survive the lockdown in different ways. We closed on March 17th and reopened in the International Museums Day on the 18th of May. And so, like many others, we thought that we just need to keep going and turned live, not exactly all the time live, but digital, as far as we could with our means. We had already obviously like Facebook page and Instagram page and some content on YouTube, but not very much. And we, since the March 23rd, we started to go on digital with different contents every single day. And the majority of them were made on purpose for this timing. So after the shock, we just felt this terrible urge to survive otherwise, after protecting the staff and secure the premises. And in a matter of 6 days, we started to do things like this, like the tours to the museum storages and other different new tours on video with the means we had. So with the communication team and ourselves, and later on with some help from professionals, but mainly there were in-house video done by the staff itself. So we tried to, other than making new tours to our spaces, not only the public opened ones, but also those that are closed to the public eyes, like the storages. We tried to, as far as possible, to keep the same programs as we had scheduled before the pandemic and the lockdown. And of course, we could not open the museum, we could not open the exhibitions that had to be postponed or cancelled, but we could share in a digital format some contents of the exhibitions and other projects on the same days that the exhibitions were scheduled to open. This was one of the cases about a Roman temple that was just discovered in some excavations right across the Roman Theatre Museum that belongs to the Museum of Lisbon, as some of you well know. And we also present contents of a small exhibition about the awkward and very interesting history about one of the most important monuments of the city in one of the big squares we have in downtown. And we also shared a making of video of a process of conservation restoration and mounting of a ceramic procession set, very long set, about a Corpus Christi procession back in the 18th century. And that video was one of the most seen digital contents ever. And we kept on doing tours either for normal spaces that were usually open to the public, and also brand new stuff like the results of long research about the history of the Pimenta Palace, the headquarters of the museum, and specifically the gardens and the cultivated area that surrounded this house. So some of the contents were made from scratch, and some other were re-prepared for this context, but showing previously research contents. And we kept on making in-house mini documentaries about different aspects of the history of the city. And we had about 1 or twice a week of this type of things. We tripled the Facebook reactions on those months compared to before and after the lockdown, and we had lots of people already waiting for the next one to arrive. And we did this with our archives, collections, and also filming outside the museum buildings. Another goal we had was to share our team, the staff, that's so regularly and unfairly stays without the proper notice. And so we took this opportunity to present the many professions we have inside the Museum of Lisbon, and interviewed many of them, and they spoke about what is their work and what they like the most to do or don't like so much. And so we kept on also making and posting some backstage content. And also we had every week learning activities, suggestions for learning activities for families, especially with small children that were locked at home. And we posted things like puzzles, quizzes, and also tools and ideas to make, for instance, presents for the Mother's Day and something for the Child's Day and things like that. Again, as close as possible to our regular program if the pandemic weren't here and if the museum was there, to try and not only give some ideas or food for thought for people at home, but also to try to keep the link between the museum and our audience alive, as alive as possible. And so we reopened in May with a new schedule, of course, that had to be adapted, and lots of attendance restrictions, like everywhere. And a new exhibition just popped up. We'd never thought of this, but I think it was the exhibition that we prepared in a shorter time ever. And we opened in the last week of July an exhibition from the work of 4 photojournalists that covered the effect that the lockdown and the confinement had on the city's landscape. It was not about sharing and showing ill people or hospitals and the type of images we saw every day on the news, but more the city itself, how the space and the city's soul, so to speak, became different, silent, absence of human life suddenly, and how strange that was, and also how beautiful that could be for some people. We had lots of emotional reactions to this exhibition and some talks about it with the photographers themselves and other people. This is another perspective of the exhibition. And later on, we had installed inside the permanent exhibition, in the midst of the collections, a video installation called Seizing an Opportunity that came out from a work made of 4 writers who wrote about their lockdown experiences and gave those texts to 4 their experience, and also the different things, that creative things that came out of that for some of them, related with new types of work, new types of thinking, new reflections on life. And those voices became like intruders, good intruders in our space and in our collections. And of course, we did as much as we could more programs, different programs in the outdoor. So we got more learning programs for families in the gardens, more guided tours in the city, of course, with small groups. But as far as we could, we are doing that resiliently. We started to have more concerts on the gardens as far as the good summer weather allowed it, and more activities regarding the nature, biodiversity, and things like this. And we opened last Thursday in a strange kind of way, which with small groups of 5 people and +5 +5 for 4 hours in a row, an exhibition about the Lisbon vegetable gardens that was supposed to open last May and opened last week. It was a bit strange, but we felt good, and we thought that the public also felt good, because we could do it anyway, and still research, and still communicate the research, and still connect to the history, identity, and to the. And that's it for now. Thank you.